Hey guys, and welcome to my first ever reaction video. I mentioned this on the Power of X-Men Instagram page. I wanted to move towards doing more unique content and stuff that I love doing. And the things I love doing are reacting to whatever Marvel puts out and geeking out about it and talking about it with everyone else. And so this morning I was like half asleep scrolling through my Instagram, and the Marvel solicitations for September 2021 were released. And oh my god, was that a lot of stuff that was in there. I mean, they're just giving us so much to talk about. So if you're joining us from the Power of X-Men community that's on Instagram or the podcast, welcome. The podcast is going to stay as is. We're just going to create more unique content for YouTube. And if you just found this video randomly on YouTube and you're like, who's this annoying guy? Welcome as well. My name is Dayspring, and I host the Power of X-Men podcast, and we have a community on Instagram, and we all sort of just chat and discuss the X books like the big old nerds that we are. But before I dive into what we got from Marvel today, I just really want to say that I have a natural curiosity for YouTube and how things work. So this is just me diving into it, doing a reaction video. I've read some things here and there. There are some awesome people in the Power of X-Men community like Imperious Rex, Legion on Zoom, and Displayed Once, who have sort of given me some advice on how to do YouTube videos. And obviously I've seen YouTube videos on how to do YouTube videos. So this is really an experiment. Let's see how it goes. I mean, I want to be very consistent with it. I want this channel to grow and thrive and bring in other people who just want to talk about X-Men. So boom, that's it. Thank you so much for joining us today. So today Marvel dropped their 2021 September solicitations. And like I mentioned, I was like half asleep, was scrolling through Instagram. Shout out to the ex-wife and From the Ashes who posted the Inferno cover. And I was just like, oh my God. And then obviously I started reading the previews from that, and there was so much that they gave. We found out about a new series, which is X-Men, The Onslaught Revelations by Cy Spurrier with art by Bob Quinn. And this is obviously the creative team from Way of X. Way of X was not mentioned in the solicitations. So I don't know. Does that mean that Way of X is canceled? Is it just on pause while this book kind of tells its story? I don't know. I was discussing this with a friend, shout out to Flickman, and it seems like maybe Way of X was canceled, but I don't know. I think they would run at least maybe like 10, 12 issues before they did that. I know the X office has said that these stories are being crafted to be like a beginning, middle, and end and like span around like 12, 14 issues. But maybe they wanted to shift gears a little bit and move towards Onslaught Revelations. I don't know. We'll see. But Way of X has been a great book. Obviously, the ending to issue 3 today was kind of fun. And I don't want to talk about that. We'll discuss that later on in another form, maybe on a YouTube video or the podcast. But the other thing that we got too was the X-Men 3 cover by Pepe Larraz and the High Evolutionary returning. I was like, oh my God. I mean, the thing that I've been questioning with the X-Men kind of coming into the spotlight and being reformed, I mean, one, we didn't know the X-Men weren't a thing until Ten of Swords. At the end of Ten of Swords, when we sort of found out that the X-Men had been disassembled when they created Krakoa. So my question is, okay, why do we need X-Men then? Because we have X Factor, we have Excalibur, we had a book, called X-Men, and it seemed to be that they were dealing with global, intergalactic, even at home threats. So, what does being an X-Men mean in today's world? I guess we're going to find out. I have the utmost faith that this book is going to answer it. But those are sort of the questions I have coming in. And they're starting off with the high evolutionary. And that is going to be sick as fuck. So obviously, I was really excited about that. The real star of the solicitations was Inferno. And it is a book that is going to be written by Jonathan Hickman with art by Valerio Schiti. I think it's Valerio Schiti. And I I am just like so impressed by it. We knew Inferno was coming because there was a teaser at the end of the last X-Men issue before the Hellfire Gala. Xavier and Magneto have denied Mystique destiny and not letting her get resurrected. And it ends with Mystique remembering Destiny's words from, earlier issues where she says, if they're not going to give you what you want, then burn the place to the ground. And then we got boom, Inferno. Now, the teaser that came at the end of that issue, a lot of people were like, it's Mystique. It doesn't look like Mystique to me. It looks like Madeline Pryor to me. And we're going to discuss her in great detail in just a little bit. But so that's sort of the setup we've gotten for Inferno. And now we got an actual cover. And so the cover, which it's either here or there or wherever, it's on the screen now. However, my basic video editing skills allow me to manifest it on screen. But we have Moira dead center in the middle with Xavier, Exodus, Magneto, Sinister, Storm, Kate. Pride. Don't call her Kitty. It's Kate now. Nightcrawler, Emma, Sebastian Shaw, and Mystique right there on the floor, all surrounding Moira as she is standing up and she's looking very like that to the cover. So obviously something's going down. Something I found that was really interesting is that don't forget in the original Inferno crossover, there were lots of images of the X-Men on the ground, sort of passed out. We saw this also in the Mark Brooks cover with Jean and Wolverine and Gambit. And everyone liked to call out Jean fainting again because that's what she did in the animated series. But here, everyone's passed out. I think that's a callback to the original Inferno, and I love that Moira is wearing the same outfit she did at the end of that X-Men issue where they announced Inferno. She's wearing the brown jacket with the all black. And in that scene, she was reading Destiny's diary. So this cover is released off of the heels of the Mark Brooks Inferno cover or print or poster or whatever you want, a promo image. Let's say promo image. And it landed a couple weeks ago, and there were a lot of hints in it that we now can start seeing coming together. The biggest one was that Moira and Xavier have their backs turned to each other. So we know there's some kind of schism there with the two. Emma's looking down at Charles, and so is Magneto. So them playing a big role in the story, not too surprising. The other interesting thing to point out is that Sinister and Exodus are at opposite ends of the promo image and they're pointing at each other and it looks like they're about to fight. So that looks like really big to us. I think we're going to get something huge happening with Sinister and Exodus. The one thing about this Mark Brooks promo image that I really loved, and I think, this could be me being a clown, putting on my speculation hat, is that Cyclops is looking directly up and he looks shocked. And I think it's because he is looking up at Madeline Pryor. I think Madeline Pryor is coming back. It's been hinted at in Hellions. Xavier, was talking to Havoc and he's here like, and Havoc's like, I just need to know the decision. But the biggest hint was later on in Hellions, Havoc was talking to Magneto about Maddie. And in the background, Mystique is there sipping her Prosecco, champagne, whatever, mocktail, cocktail, whatever she's drinking. So I think it would be really odd if Madeline doesn't come back. Now, you know, Jordan D. White mentioned in an interview with us that Madeline has been very popular since her death. And with all the hints in Hellions, it seems odd that they wouldn't bring her back in some way, shape, or form. So is Mystique gonna go sneak into the resurrection protocols and resurrect Madeline? I mean, she is the only one who could really burn Krakoa. I don't know. What I would say to that is, why wouldn't they resurrect? Why wouldn't she resurrect Destiny instead? Maybe they have Destiny's resurrection protocols under, some kind of security system that Mystique can access. So she's here like, well, if I can't get Destiny, here's this motherfuckers, and she brings back Madeline instead. I don't know. We're going to see how all that plays out. But Inferno is definitely the next chapter in Hickman's crossover event. I am so excited for it. I cannot wait for the fall. And what do you guys think?